Hello and welcome to another edition of CM9798 Plays. To play International Superstar Soccer Pro Evolution, or as you and I call it, ISS Pro Evolution. Believe in your dreams.
International Superstar Soccer Pro Evolution.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself. You can always rely on Konami for a extremely long intro, which became a bit of a thing throughout the rest of the Pro Evolution or ISS series. Some of the intros are actually on the channel already if you want to have a peek through them when you get a moment. The reason I want to go back to these games is obviously Pro Evolution Soccer as we know it is no more. Recently it's been renamed to eFootball, PES, or just eFootball, and generally the brand as we know it is long gone. The Pro Evolution ISS series, very, very dear to me. I spent so many hours on these games with friends or even on my own. The Master League mode made its debut in this game we're going to look at today, so we'll have a look at that in a short while. In terms of the series and where it sits, I thought it was interesting this game was released in May. It's quite unusual for a football game to come out towards the end of a season, but kind of goes along with the sort of identity crisis that this game was having at this point in time. As you can see, it's kind of crossing over between ISS and PES. After this, we'd have to wait until March 2001 for ISS Pro Evolution Soccer 2. In between those times we went on to PS2 and we had an ISS game. Obviously ISS was just how this started out. So all very confusing. So let's focus on ISS Pro Evolution for now. And as you can see we've got the game on here. Starting off, match mode, fairly basic things here. So exhibition, the All-Star match, which was a bit of a miss really. That seemed to fall out of the series as it went on through time. The underrated penalty kick match was always a great waste of 5 minutes. An option to load Master League teams, which doesn't feel like a big deal, but it's actually the only way you can play an exhibition match with club teams. They only sit in the Master League mode otherwise. League mode is International League. As you say, there's 16 teams, but yeah, sort of a long play, I guess. Probably wasn't the most used mode in the world. Cup mode, you've got lots of different cups. Let's have a look what you can play in the old cup mode here. So International Cup, Konami Cup, the European Cup, obviously limited to European teams, the African Cup limited to your 6 African nations there, not the biggest selection of teams in the world. The American Cup, so that's your South American teams and some looks like Central American teams in there as well, North American teams as well, USA, Mexico, Jamaica, is that? Plus your South American nations. And the Asian Cup, which also features Australia, which I guess did happen in real life anyway eventually. International Cup's free choice, so you can bring as many of your national teams in there as you want. And likewise, Konami, you can have between 3 and 16 teams. Very specific. I've kind of entered this mode now, so I'll have to flick through it. You can have tournament round robin. This was great if you were playing with friends as well. You could set up a custom everyone play everybody league, as you can see here, between as many teams as you want. Easy, normal and hard, game length 10, 5 minutes, so on and so forth. I think I'll probably have to set this up now to get out the mode, so let's just bring a couple of home nations in there. Yes, proceed. Don't worry, I'm not actually going to play this, but seeing as we're here. Can I quit game? I can quit game, right. Back to the menu. So that was good, having those cup options. They're great for multiplayer. Training mode we'll not go into, but you can do various training exercises to get yourself good at the game. We'll take a quick peek into game options. Obviously, edit mode we'll have a look at in a moment. The rest in here is not particularly exciting. Set your buttons up, that's fairly normal. Appreciation, you can have a look at the trophy cabinet and your replays. I thought it was nice you could have a look at what trophies you'd won. I used to enjoy doing that when it was offline gaming. Used to be all we had when this was released, and it was nice to tick them all off one by one. Make sure you had all, even you won the African Cup and you won the Asian Cup, whatever else was in there. It was nice to get them all done. As a laugh, I don't know if it was on this game or not, maybe under sound setting. Sometimes I'd change the commentary language to one of the other ones, English, German and French. Not the biggest selection on here. I think it must have been a later game. You could have Shu as the Japanese commentator was wild. So that was always a laugh. If we look in the edit mode again, it's quite advanced for what it is. You can add in your own players, you can create your own players, you can edit the names, which is obviously a huge thing in this game, because as you can see, we have very few licenses. They were quite creative. Roy Keane with 2 E's. England, one, what's Tim Sherwood doing in there? But 2, I'm enjoying Paul Scholes with a K, and Lasaw. Martin Keown starting. This is with the Kevin Keegan era of England, which wasn't the most successful. Southgate, big fan of that. So yeah, they did the best they could with limited resources in terms of licenses. Obviously that improved a little bit as the series went on, but even to this day there are some issues around that. A Voodoo car there for Australia. So yeah, lots of fun to be had with that. So what we'll do is we will play a game in the Master League because, well, why wouldn't you? Seeing as we're here. So let's start our Master League. And like I said, you have... Obviously we're going to play on hard. I always just get stick for this as a child, but if you're going to play a game, play on the hardest difficulty and learn. It's the only way you'll learn. Interesting that you're going to play a half season. I'm going to assume that you could unlock full season or something as some sort of reward for surviving what is the most brutal of game modes, and it always has been. Here's your teams. So Manchester, you're not getting a full Man United team or kit here. London, interesting that Chelsea got away with it. Don't know why. Liverpool, Monaco, Marseille, Dortmund, Munchen, Barcelona, Madrid, International, Torino, AC Milan, Roma, Parma and Amsterdam. So to be fair, there's only Arsenal and I suppose Man City will have some arguments against that, but there's only Arsenal who really are unrecognisable by these names. I'm going to be Barcelona. I always used to be as a child. I don't really know why. Probably because Newcastle aren't on here, and Barcelona was always seen as quite a, well, they are obviously a very fancy club. Now I know what you're thinking. Let's go and see what Castolo and the gang are up to. What is very interesting about this game is that I'm going to have to buy someone just to show you this. This is the original Master League lineup, who get absolutely no credit whatsoever. They are long forgotten about in the grand scheme of things, but very Italian-based team. Morosi, Yano, Otto, the German there, Ragnotti, the Frenchman, D'Agostino, Chieci, who I'm going to guess became Cellini, not really sure, Harushka of Poland, De Silva of Spain, Pavia in the Minanda role. He's also Italian. Kitty, that old Italian name, he's up front with Lawson, the English representative. And on the bench I've got Munari, another Italian, Gobato, Italian, Sata, Italian, Ricard, Italian, Alviano, Farina, both representing Italy there. Allen in midfield. Stella as a forward, and Answer, presumably not Andy Answer, he of Unbelievable Techers, if you remember that from Soccer AM. But also Carl Carlson there from The Simpsons, and Columbo in goal, so there'll be some mysteries solved there. So, unrecognisable, really. I haven't looked into this, but I'm going to guess that for the most part, those players were obviously renamed and renationalised in some cases, but the statistics, I'm going to assume, were largely the same. And the reason I think that is because if we look at the lineup here, they line up in the default Master League 3-5-2 with players largely in the same positions. So, whatever. A few disappointed people here. You can use the shoulder button, it's R1, to flag through your filters here. Poor Otto must have had a bad day driving the bus, so he's out. Sadly, everyone's miserable in the defence. For goodness sake, lads, I'm sure Rickard can do that. I'm sure he's a side back, which is a full back, but we'll put him there and he'll have a good time. Stats out of 10, which I forgot about. And you can see, I was thinking he's terrible, but no, they're actually out of, I think, out of 10. Otherwise, these guys are absolutely atrocious. I'm pleased they upped that to 20 in later versions. Gives you a bit more variation. Who else was depressed? Sorry, I missed that. Oh yes, Churchy. So, goodness me, short options here. I mean, I'm going to put Alan in there. It's not really his position, but it doesn't matter. These games are pretty decent as well for being able to change your positions and things, so you can, if I want him to play further forward, I will just move him further forward. There's no messing about. In a lot of these sort of early computer games, things were quite rigid. You had to deal with what you were given. I don't know what this is. Do I really want to do this? I'm overwriting. Okay. Mentality as well. If I want Alan to attack, I'm sure one of these buttons will do that. I don't know what I'm doing, right? And I'm not willing to waste the time in checking it out. So we'll just play. You can see we're up against Monaco, and they also have the name issues, but you can recognise most of them. Barthez, Martin Jetau, Frank Dumas, I think it was Leonard, the Belgian. I don't know who Saniol is. Diawara, Legwinski, Gava, Ludovic Gouli, Victor Ikpeba, and David Trezeguet. So we're up against it, to say the least. So let's start the match.
The pitch is in perfect condition. Good evening, football fans. This is Martin Williams. And now joining me for live commentary, here's Terry Butcher. Terry, welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Terry Butcher.
Master League.
I have to say, what I like about these games as well is that they had commentators who you didn't really associate with anything else. I mean, I don't know who Martin Williams is, and obviously Terry Butcher presumably was involved with commentary during the 90s, but he's not a standard commentator. I always felt like it was quite nice they had their own presentation. Here they are walking out at a snail's pace for some reason. They're not really up for this, but it is what it is. That's a good team photo there. Happens before every game, of course it does. Whoever that is in the front row is massive compared to the rest. That's a nice look to the side as well. Mick McCarthy there from the guy at the back. I don't know what Barthez is doing with his hands, but anyway. Here we are then.
We're getting ready for kickoff.
So, obviously, this is probably not the greatest way of showing off the skill of this game, because Monaco are one of the best European teams around at this point in time, and the Master League team, as we've seen, are lacking somewhat. But we'll try, we'll play out from the back, we'll do things properly, because that is the Barcelona way, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Oh, goodness me, we've given it away already. Jano will get across and do, right, we're fine. It's fine, lads, everything's fine. Our ball? Not our ball. The crowd noise is quite incessant. You don't get much from the commentators either. They crack in every now and again with the odd. Mostly about the time. They're desperate for the game to finish, so they tell you, we've played 20 minutes, we've played half an hour. It gets better later in the series, I think. I mean, no football commentary on these games is particularly great. But I do think less is more. which you're probably thinking about me right now. Let's try and get... Oh, goodness. Can you keep it, lads? You've got to be better than this. We probably can't defend corners either, but we'll find out in a minute. Right. Switch on, lads. Get in. Right. Yes. Can we spring a counter here? Oh, we might be able to. It's all about turning towards freedom all the time. That's nice. Oh, that's a shame. I thought we'd... Oh. He switched teams. You have that. Have a shot. Shot on target. Counts. Got to be better than that to beat Fabian Barthez on what was, I assume, his weaker foot, because he plays on the left wing. But really, who knows? Ragnotti, he's a man. That's a good pass. No, it's not a good pass. So it's scrappy. It's quite an easy game to play, though. It's I'm probably making it look hard, but please bear in mind, the default Master League team is the greatest challenge of all. But again, that's what I like about Master League. You really felt you had to earn it. I played a lot of FIFA 99, which was probably the game before this in my footballing education, and it was very, very easy. I found very fun. Don't get me wrong, and obviously Fatboy Slim was it Fatboy Slim on that one, or was it Song 2 and Blur? I can't remember, but sure, right about now was the song on that. Anyway. It was a very enjoyable game, but it was quite easy. But this was a real challenge, especially playing Master League on hard. That's some great tackling there. It's also good to know that the PES buttons haven't changed at all over the years. I think PES was probably the first to have the old through ball button. Triangle is your through ball. Oh, hang on. Oh, Kitty just wasn't quick enough. Triangle was your through ball, which was a bit of like a weighted pass. There's no power bar on it, which meant it was quite infuriating at times. But if you got it right, it was devastating. Obviously, X is pass, as it is on every game ever. Square is shoot, which again catches the old FIFA players out whenever they switch codes. A lot of people, I think even now they have the option to switch the configuration, so you can just say I want configuration 2, and it switches fairly seamlessly between FIFA controls and PES controls. None of that for me. It's all about square for shooting. Circle's chip pass, you can get power bar on that, I think. We'll try that if we ever get possession. Ooh, got that away.
He clears downfield.
Look at them throwing themselves. Bodies on the line. Yes. How Alan. Away we go. Right. Oh, it just keeps coming back. And Alan's giving away a corner. Big problems. But we've lasted 40 minutes. Ooh.
Just off by the width of the ball.
Nowhere near. Yes, so R1 is your sprint. Not that we've really had a chance to use that. Again, unlike FIFA, you can't just sprint everywhere. You will lose control of the ball. Ooh, dirty man. Get him in the book. He has. There's something else I like about this game as well. And a lot of the earlier PES are good for this, is that the opposition actually commit fouls. I like PES 21, I think the last one I have. Really enjoyable game to play, but you don't ever get a penalty. You very rarely get the opposition getting booked or anything like that. Whereas I play games of PES where both teams are finished with men sent off, which is more realistic. Not every game, of course, not every game, but I just feel like it's something that's been lost from a lot of football games, especially if you're playing it on a high difficulty. The opposition will just press you without ever fouling you, which is quite boring. But none of that here. It's half time. It's 0-0. We haven't been terrible. They nearly scored with that looping header. We had 2 shots. They've had 3, but we've had 2 and a free kick. You can only get better. You can see Monaco have gone to town on their stats, not on their strategies, which is the icons you can see in the bottom left there next to Diawara's name. So what this is, and we'll have a look at this in a moment if we need to tweak things. You can set some strategies, and then by using R2, I think it is, and the corresponding button, you can set that strategy to come on. So it might be, your wingers switch sides or that sort of thing, which is, a nice thing to be able to do just by clicking a quick button. Come on, let's get the ball in the box. Let's get nothing but De Silva. No, didn't. Never really sat down from it. Hang on, get across. Yes. The response is quite good as well. There was a time with games, you may recall, where like if the ball was going for a throw-in and you caught up to it, there was no way you can do anything other than run out of play. This ISS really nailed sort of fixing that. Let's try and do a 1-2. The defender didn't forfeit. If you do L1 and X, whoever's passed the ball will run off, and the guy who receives the ball will just immediately play it on. It's a good idea in principle, but you can also do it with circle, which it's careless. It's careless. Right.
He dribbles through.
Take that, Ludovic Gulli. Right.
He clears downfield.
Get up.
Some quick passing.
As well, something that's been lost from Master League over the years is that now it's basically Football Manager, where you identify the player you want, you've got to bid for them, you get told you need to bid more. There's none of that here. It's every player has got a price, which is in points. You get points for winning matches. It's very, very straightforward. It's the way games should be. Unless I get the world's moved on and not everyone's hanging on to the past like me, but why not just have the option to make it simple and play the sort of the original Master League rules rather than the full Football Manager experience, which well done, lads. Which I would enjoy. Granted, I play it regardless, but if I want to go and buy a player like this and I can afford them, I'll get them, and that's that's what it should all be about. If I'm playing a video game and I want to sign a certain player, and obviously I've earned the right to do so, it shouldn't be.
He blocks the pass.
There shouldn't be anything to stop me doing that. It kind of defeats the point. Especially if I'm playing offline. Like, what do you think I'm doing? I'm not going to cheat myself. Like, play games to get away from the real world. Does anyone have a player they always used to sign on Master League? Obviously, anyone with pace probably be top of your list. Certainly with this team. Well done, Alan. Oh, Alan.
He cuts out the pass. They better close that gap.
Circle there, slide tackle. Very, very good. Committed to playing off from the back, which I regret on every level. Tell you what, mind. Ragnotti is. They're taking no prisoners, these Monacoans. Oh, giving the ball away again. But then he ran into Ragnotti, who is, for me, the man of the match.
Throwing.
We haven't created a great deal here. It hasn't been one for the purists. Is that all throwing? Alright. Well, whatever. Here we go.
He dribbles through. That's fierce defending.
Here's the chance. Stand it up.
Puts it in the box.
It's not good.
He heads clear. He dribbles through.
Hello. Free kick on the edge of the box. And a booking for that. Seems harsh. Gava. Is it Gava? I think it's Gava. Anyway.
Free kick.
Now, that man on the wall is small. And that is good news for me. So let's try and get this over him. Just too high. Never mind. It's always curling away. Pavia, Minanda. I fully intend to play the Pro Evolution series at some point. probably noticed I managed to get this up and running again, which I'm sure 3 or 4 of you will be delighted at. The rest of you probably less so. So we've got a whole host of old games to play. He's in. That's bad news. Oh, can I foul him? I can't. No, no. It's a nice celebration though. Fair play. See, we just couldn't quite foul him. We're in the spot of bother now. But it's alright, we've had a good time. Given the ball away too many times, and we haven't really managed to get in behind Monaco. But it's learned. It's the first I've played this game for, how long? Too long. If I ever play old ISSs, I usually play ISS Pro 2, which again we'll probably look at some point. It's a pretty similar game, just a few more options. Well, there's no time for stoppages there, was there?
Barcelona have suffered a painful loss.
We've suffered a painful loss. It's game 1.
Terry, let's get your impression of
there wasn't an awful lot in it. You don't get an awful lot in the way of stats, though, to be fair.
Yes, thank you, Terry.
The goal and the assist. No average ratings these days. So that's that. A disappointing defeat, you might say. There's the points system. So for every game you win, you get, I think it was 4 or 8 points in? And you got bonus points for goals, obviously. None of those are an issue for us today. There's the table. Just one 16-team league. Poor Bayern Munich there got stuffed 4-2 by Marseille. So they sit bottom. We sit joint 13th. What else could you get on here? It's a tournament score sheet. It's a very complicated system where it tells you what the results were from other matches. Consecutive wins, team performance chart. Well, alright, we're 13th. I'll probably look better over time. Scoring leaders. Florian Maurice, the Space Cowboy. I like it has shots as well, that's a nice touch. 2 goals from 7 shots. Bayern Munich presumably didn't bother defending at all for that. Paul Ince, hot shot, 1 out of 1. Ronaldo, that's less surprising. Marseille racked up the shots in that win. Ravanelli had 5. Leroy, don't know who that is. Assist leaders, it must be Dugarry, Zidane of course, Vieri, Vegard Hegem, who else? Albert Ferrer there at the bottom, good for him. Next up we've got Inter Milan, probably get that one a wide berth. And yeah, if we want to look at acquiring players, you can buy them from any of your rival club teams, or from any nation. Obviously I've got very little money, but I could buy Gary Breen. I won't, but I could. To get Niall Quinn. Could get Steve Lomas. Some of these, I mean, is that Aaron Hughes? I don't really know. That's Mike Hughes. Yeah, there's some. Wow, 12 points. Wow, I can only buy 2 Mike Taylors. I have no need to, of course. But there's some great names from the past in here. Obviously, Ryan Giggs is more expensive than most of the Welsh team combined. In fact. So yes, there's quite 22 players a nation. There's a fair amount of options there. Frank Sinclair, for example, Dion Burton, Paul Hall. That Jamaica team did make the '98 World Cup, I suppose. Nobby Solano's in there for Peru. So yeah, there's enough to keep you occupied. The free agents look like they are the released players from Barcelona. I'm assuming the good ones, or the other good ones, have been snapped up already, which is not surprising if it's the likes of Rivaldo up for grabs. Or maybe they just feature because they're in the Brazil team and things. I'm not sure, but I could sign Ruud Hesp and Dragan Siric, which I will not, but I could. And that's Sergio Busquets' dad. Carlos, I think. But never mind. I'm not going to save this, I'll be honest. I might play it again another time, but not today. So that is it for our look at International Superstar Soccer Pro Evolution today. Like I said, the next version in the series was ISS Pro Evolution 2, which was also on the PS1. There's, as I say, also a sort of a host of other ISS games that were released on Nintendo platforms and things. We've got a lot of them to go through, which I'm really looking forward to. So thank you very much for watching today and for your company. Do drop us a comment if there's a certain game in the series you'd like us to play. But otherwise, thanks again. See you on Twitter at CM9798. We'll see you next time here on YouTube. Thanks very much. Bye for now.